Good afternoon.
Hi, good afternoon. How are you?
Doing well, thank you. Hope you all are doing phenomenal as well.
We are looking forward.
Excellent. I'll go ahead and get started because I know that for some of us, our time is very, very limited. And without further ado, I'm very, very pleased and excited to go ahead and launch the 2025-26 company program for Junior Achievement of Greater Miami. I'd like to apologize ahead of time with the noise, but we have phenomenal news. Junior Achievement has just signed memorandum of understanding with Miami-Dade College. So I am still at the event in a little space to go ahead and run our training. So we're official partners with Miami-Dade College in addition to Miami-Dade County Public Schools now. Without further ado, my name is Vanessa Valle, and I am the coordinator for JA Company Program. I am also the Vice President of Education for Junior Achievement, and I am so happy to actually have you all, teachers and volunteers, join me for today's training. I am your point of contact throughout the entire experience. And if there's anything that you need from me at any given time, please always feel free to reach out. I ask that we make note of any questions that you might have, and at the end, I'll open the floor for any questions and answering them as they come. So for those that don't know, JA Company Program is Junior Achievement's longest running program. It started in 1919 with the founding of the organization, and today nearly 500,000 students globally flex their entrepreneurial spirit each year with JA Company Program. If you look at the image below, that is such a great representation of what company program actually looks as it is executed. Students showcasing their work and taking pride in the work that they actually do throughout their experience. But we'll talk a little bit more about it as we move throughout the actual presentation. And again, if you have any questions, please jot them down and feel free to save them and ask me at the very end of our training.
We introduced JA Company Program with one specific goal: to prepare young people for success in business.
OJ Company Program is an opportunity for the people that want to take on business and also take on a good challenge during the year.
This really got us to have a hands-on experience. It shows us how to run a business.
An experience that empowers young people to own their economic success.
You have to develop your own product, you have to create positions, you have to finance your own company.
I go home and I think about it and I'm thinking of ways to make this company better, and it's something I enjoy doing that I can use for my career. So I believe it's actually the most important class I have in my whole 4 years of high school.
From generation to generation, we have innovated, evolved, and risen to the reality of the time. Today, we introduce the next step. The new JA Company Program creates relevant student experiences and fosters an entrepreneurial workforce.
ZinePack was really born out of an idea. It was about giving more to consumers who were buying physical music products.
I'm Slava Rubin, and I'm with Indiegogo. So you can crowdsource anything, whatever it is that you're trying to get.
Yeah, I don't know what exactly happened to our video, but it gives you a good understanding as to what company program actually looks like. In company program, the teachers, the volunteers, and the students work together to go ahead and create a community of mentorship where they all go ahead and build a business from the ground up. It starts from capitalization, and capitalization can happen in many different ways. It can be the students capitalizing and purchasing stocks in the business that they are developing. It can be that they have sponsorships to go ahead and start and initiate their company. And it could very well be, a pre-sale in the form of a fundraiser sort of thing. sky's the limit. If you have any questions about that, discuss it with a school, discuss it with a teacher, discuss it with any one of us at Junior Achievement, and we're happy to go ahead and brainstorm ideas and how you could go ahead and start your initial funds. But the most common is to sell stocks. We want our students to be able to feel proud of the business that they are developing and invest in their own ideas. But throughout today's training, really the purpose is to help you feel comfortable with leading these students throughout the experience, to answer any questions you might have, and really to demonstrate appreciation for you taking the time to actually make it into the classrooms and really do work that is going to be life-changing for everyone. If you have further questions after today's training, I will also invite you to attend our Friday sessions at noon, which are our Q&A sessions, and I will send that via email afterwards, alongside with a recording of today's training, and I am happy to meet with you and discuss anything that you have inquiries about. So we're going to go over briefly how to access the JA resources. We're going to discuss the overview of the program, the requirements of it, how to access materials and small tutorials, what a visit looks like at the school, and answer questions that you might have. This is what our learning platform looks like. All teachers, volunteers, and students have access to it. That is why we have and collect the email addresses from you. So if I had your email upon registering, all of you have access to go into learn.ja.org, and you can access the entire curriculum for JA Company program. Your screen will look like the one that I have displayed on this slide. And if you look at the far right-hand side, you'll see that there is a box titled JA Company program. Yours will look something similar to that. You will click on JA Company program and navigate through the curriculum. When you go in, your screen will look like this, similar to a Canvas or a Blackboard or Schoology or any LMS system that you may have worked before. Once you have the landing page, you go ahead and log in here. As I mentioned, your login is your email address. If you select forgot password, it will allow you to reset it immediately. It'll send you an automatic email and you create one for yourself and move from that point onward. So as you can see in the boxes within the screen, once you enter the course, you're always going to have the first box that is a program overview and resources. I have attached the resources to the calendar invites for your classes, and I have a one-pager that I will go ahead and demonstrate to you a little bit further in the presentation, so you don't have to feel overwhelmed about navigating the platform. Really, teachers and students are the ones that are primarily going to be using the platform. Teachers to assign the students the actual quizzes and have access to the lessons and the submissions. Students, because the students are required to go ahead and complete the pre-program check-in, the post-program check-in, and the actual lessons within the program itself. That is part of complying with company programs requirements and prerequisites. When you click on any given box or the little tiles that you'll see that a menu drops down from the left-hand side. That menu indicates everything that is available to you. For instance, in the program overview and resources, you will have not only the guides for teachers and volunteers, which I will show you how you can access them without having to log in, but you do have them available here. The pacing guides, anything that you really would like to know about the program can be found there. And then it progresses into pre-program check-in, which our teachers who have worked with us in the past also know that a link is provided on our one-pager to make it easier for everyone to access results and have their submissions taken care of. This right here is our milestones chart. This is what company program looks like from beginning to end. Our students start the first week with starting a business. They get acquainted with what it means to start a business. They explore what entrepreneurship means, access their strengths, their weaknesses, identify sources of capital, and really identify where they make a best fit for the business itself. It is some of our, it is our characteristics really that define the work that we do and where we are most successful. So that is what students are actually doing. Then they begin to brainstorm on what problem or situation they can solve. And it could be one within their school sites or one within their community, or they can think even larger, at an environmentalist perspective, from a social emotional perspective, whatever the case may be, and whatever they feel passionate about. Then, they create a structure, they launch the business, and the business operations is really made of 5 fundamental department areas. As in every business, you have your leadership team, your marketing team, your finance team, your supply chain team, and your sales force. So all those 5 teams together work in conjunction to go ahead and build this business. My humble recommendation is that for your leadership team, you have one main CEO, and then the head from each of the other teams, from your marketing, your finance, supply chain, and sales, make up that leadership so that you have representation from all areas. When it's time to compete, if your group is one that chooses to take part in our local competition, which then leads to our national one, and I will talk about that later, then that leadership team is the one that represents that business at the competition. It's almost like, in the corporate world, when you have a business trip, the entire staff does not attend. Your leadership representatives actually go and attend on behalf of everyone and are able to represent the organization. So that's really the concept that we're trying to deliver here. And then, of course, towards the end, they liquidate the company and their financial workbooks, which they manage throughout, create a personal action plan, and develop an annual report. Throughout this, the students learn a plethora of entrepreneurial skills, including collaboration, public speaking, and all the items that you see down here, which is really creating a well-rounded professional. So this is a one-stop resource document and sheet that I told you that I created for you all. And with it, you really don't need to access the learning platform. So the learning platform becomes an optional item for you. The entire document is hyperlinked. It is hyperlinked to a Google Drive. So if Google Drive is something that you do not have access to or struggle with, then of course you have the learning platform so that you can gather everything. But this will go ahead and allow you to see everything from start to finish. Friendly reminder down at the bottom, my teachers, you have your pre-program survey and post-program survey link, as I mentioned. These are the ones that you're going to use before the program starts and after the program starts and after the program finishes. Volunteers, our teachers are responsible for going ahead and presenting the content of the program. All the lessons are taught by the teachers. The mentors or volunteers are coming in to support it and further enhance that experience with their areas of expertise, listening to ideas, and helping build a successful student journey and business. So, for instance, when you receive calendar invites from me, and some of you already have received them, I have not sent you the email with your matches and the contact information for volunteers and teachers just yet, but I will do so because there were still some slots that we're filling. But what I have done is those that I already have dates from a volunteer to go ahead and attend and join your class, you should have received calendar invites for the dates that have been selected. You will notice that on the calendar invite, on the subject line, I include the meeting number that volunteer is attending for. So the meeting numbers is the first basically item on this document. The second item is a session title, okay? That's the topic that is covered during the session. And if you click on here, if by any chance, say your volunteer has an emergency, cannot attend, or you're teaching the lessons and you'd rather follow a recording and engage students in conversation by pausing, replaying, and going back into it, you have either myself or one of our JA Phenomenal volunteers teaching all of these lessons in a recording. They're all hyperlinked and they're available to you right in here. You can see that it says lesson recording linked, so you have no worries. If you've never taught it or this is your first time, or you'd like a sample of what it looks like, you can simply click there and it'll take you to the YouTube video recording. On the third column, you have all the documents that are assigned to that particular lesson. So For meeting one, you have your guide and your tutorial. And basically these are the teacher and volunteer guides. The meeting one guide, okay, and a tutorial video. The video is explaining, more explanatory. The guide is a document itself that guides you throughout what you should expect in that session. Then these are the resources by session that your students will complete. Pre-program survey, the program milestones, and the company structure survey. So each week has everything linked and it's organized in a manner where you have it on a one-pager. To the right-hand side, I have created optional tasks to enhance the experience. None of these are from JA. These are all basically activities that I have created to kind of enhance and give it a little bit of a nudge, and elevate it to what we currently see in the business world. For instance, having them look. Does somebody have a question?
Oh, sorry. Class was talking out.
No worries at all. No worries. So these tasks are tasks that I felt were necessary to go ahead and build a more complete experience, and having students research their role in the company. What does it mean to be a CEO? What does it mean to be a finance lead? What are the responsibilities, etc.? So they actually look those up and research, creating a LinkedIn profile, and of course, these are all at your discretion. You do the ones that you feel are fit if you want to. If not, just stick to the program. I love, excuse me. I love the idea of having them create a business card because they have to have conversations and learn to agree on the colors they choose for their company, agree on the logo, agree on the naming. And truly, the only thing that changes on the business card is the name and contact information, but everything else is something that has to be agreed upon. Creating flyers, looking at the finances. So all of those are ideas that come together. I love having them draft an email if they were going to solicit funding from someone. And of course, you don't want them to be emailing everyone asking for funds, if you're not aware of it or part of it. But that's why these are just assignments that you can go ahead and put together if you'd like. And if you choose, like I said, not to complete them, that is fine. That's why they are optional. On the very bottom, then you have your classroom checklist. And the checklist item is one that I recommend that every teacher go ahead and print and have posted somewhere up in their classrooms. And go checking off as you go ahead and complete the actual items, because that's going to help you go through the program from beginning to end without skipping a step and making sure you have everything that you need. You have a recording of the initial training PowerPoint. I will update it with a current one, which is the one we're at today. The guiding principles of the program, how to enroll students. And I know teachers, if you've provided me your rosters, which most of you have, I've already enrolled your students for you and they have access to the program already. The unapproved product list is also there. The product application, purchase order, check requisition forms for reimbursement if you need, the finance workbook training, like how to liquidate, certificates for you to provide your students at the end of the experience if you'd like, competition files, Raptor volunteer program registration. If you are volunteering, it is essential that you complete the Raptor volunteer program registration and select the school that you are actually volunteering at so that they obtain clearance to have you visit the school. For many of you, I've included it in our email communication. And if you haven't, you have the link here as well. But my volunteers, the most important item are your volunteer speaking points, because I have bullet points that match the different topics for each week that you can go ahead and talk to and speak to and go ahead and further support the students throughout their experience. The suggested timeline is November 10th up until April. We have our competition already jotted and confirmed, actually, where I'm currently at Miami-Dade campus, Miami-Dade College Padrone campus, and that will take place April 22nd. I really encourage you and your students to participate in the experience. I absolutely love that students take pride in the work that they produce. And in seeing them go ahead and showcase their products, their ability to pitch the company that they have built so proudly on stage, engage in interviews, and do so with such joy is truly a testament of the hard work and collaboration that we do with Junior Achievement and Miami-Dade County Public Schools. So most teachers have provided me their dates. Some volunteers have already selected the dates that they would meet, and that's when the calendar invites are sent. And within the calendar invites, I have all the resources that you need as well, so you don't have to go looking for them in every which direction. But if there's one sheet that I would tell you place on your desktop is the one pager that I mentioned with all the hyperlinks, that's your like go-to resource for everything. So our competition resource registration will take place really anytime up until March 6th. March 6th is the deadline for the students to submit their company report submission, and that is a qualifier for our local competition. Our finalists are then announced March 13th. By April 10th, students must submit a company commercial or video. The 22nd is the competition itself. And our deadline to go ahead and submit for national consideration is that same exact week. So we have to work very, 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 very quickly this year. And there's no time to, let's say, to rework any of the submissions that we had from before because the deadline is so short. By May 5th, we already know who is advancing to the national competition. And hopefully we have another team here. Since I've been at JA, we've always had at least one qualifying team from JA Company Program represent at the nation. And this year's trip is to Boston, Massachusetts. So I'm really excited about that. And the trip will take place the first week after school ends, June 7th through 11th. We cover all the expenses and costs associated with a trip. So once again, the business teams are separated into 5 categories: management and leadership, marketing, supply and chain, sales, and finance. This is basically the non-approved product list looks like. Okay, if you have any questions or any ideas, or you're on the fence as to whether or not your product is approved, reach out to me, ask me. We could go ahead and talk it out with our insurance agents at JAUSA, and it could very well be that they allow us to do something. I know, for instance, that we have had conversations about some of the items that you see here that make it to national competition and how they have made it that far. And all it takes sometimes is a conversation and making sure that all security protocols are in place. But whenever a product or service is determined for your student company, a product approval application, like the one you see to the right-hand side of my screen, is completed and emailed to me. When you email it to me, I email it to our Junior Achievement National Office, and their insurance agency goes ahead and approves, submits some questions, or denies, and we have to resubmit and reconsider. Very rarely are product approvals denied if they follow the protocols that we have in place. But there are instances where they will come back with questions just to make sure that everything is clear and that, again, all safety procedures are taken into consideration. Financial requirements. There are financial requirements to the program. This year, I have Miss Alina from our office, which is phenomenally, is going to be our finance phenomenal assistant. And she's going to be helping me manage a lot of the financial requirements for JA Company Program. All financial budgets and records will be kept in an Excel finance workbook. All of this is housed in Google Drive. Now, it is my understanding that sometimes our students experience difficulty uploading or making edits to the Google Drive on the platform itself. So what I encourage you to do is download it and upload it to Schoology or whatever platform they are using for school. Have them check it and update it on a weekly basis and then upload it once again. They could do so as a homework assignment from home if they cannot do so at school. But it's important that it's current because we will not make purchases if the finance workbook does not match the finances and the monies that are available are not matching or reflected on the finance workbook. Finance workbook needs to be in place and in order for transactions to be fulfilled. We could go ahead and host trainings for finance at some point via Zoom, and we have a pre-recorded video as well, which we will actually see in a little bit with a finance workbook whereabouts. Once a budget is created, the students may begin to capitalize. Really, the idea comes first, then the budget, then the capitalization. Students may sell, share stocks, like I said in prior slides. They can sell the stocks to family members, friends, or they may choose to invest in them themselves. Investments are all made via Clover. Each student group has a Clover account. All of our teachers have access to that Clover account. There are instructions on the one pager on how to go ahead and set up your QR codes if you would like to set up your QR codes, or I can hop on a call with you and we can go ahead and square that out so that you can begin capitalizing. And even for your sales, all sales are also done cashless via Clover. So my teachers that don't like dealing with money and cash at hand, there is no need for you to deal with cash at hand, okay? Unless your school would like to run it as an in-house fundraiser and they want to go ahead and carry out all the finances, Clover is a platform that we go ahead and provide you so that we follow all procedures and protocols where nobody has to touch money. Reports can be pulled whenever you'd like, and JA manages on the back end. We do look at our Clover accounts. All that money is housed on the bank account, within our bank accounts for each of our student companies, and then purchase orders are submitted for every JA purchase that is necessary. And of course, we look to see that the funds are available to make the purchases. Within the Google Drives, and our teachers will have the links to the Google Drive as well, and some calendar invites also include them, the more recent ones. You will find your finance workbook, the tasks that each team will complete, the product approval application, and the Clover guide. You will notice that this is, for instance, the folder for Company 1, which is our model company. The task lists for each department area are within a folder. And then you have your workbook, your product approval application, and the Clover guide. Please note that the finance workbook within the Google Drive is different from the one within the program platform. Why? Because we tried to simplify it within our JA Miami system, since the national one was a bit cumbersome and difficult to follow, and some of the formulas within weren't working properly. So we went ahead and fixed them all so that we had a cleaner, more seamless experience for our students, which is why we have the one we have within our Google Drive. This is what it looks like, and Nikita Rodriguez went ahead and put together this phenomenal training for us. I'll play a little bit of it so that we can have an idea of what the finance workbook looks like. Keep in mind, you do have this link in your one-page resource, so you can come to it at any given time.
Hi, everyone. My name is Nikita Rodriguez, and I work with the Junior Achievement of Greater Miami team. I am going to be going over the all-important finance workbook with you all as you go on the company program journey. So today we are going to be reviewing the workbook, all the different parts of it, and how best to create your budget, know what your finances are, and track it throughout the process. Your workbooks are found in the Google Drive for your company program. When you open it up, the first tab you will see are the key terms and tips. At the bottom, you will notice all the different tabs that are related to the different parts of managing your financials. Under key terms and tips, you will find a description of what each one of those workbook tabs include, as well as other key terms that you may come across as part of your financial journey. Whenever you see a cell that is peach, that will be a cell that you will need to type or write something in. So JA company name, for the purpose of our example, we will call this the ABC company. And the finance team leader should be the person that is most responsible for managing your company's finances. For this example, I will go ahead and put in my name. All right. The next tab is your budget and your break even. To begin your business, you need to know what your finances are and how much things cost. It's hard to know how much capital one should raise or how much money you will need if you're not sure how much your product will cost your company. So let's create a budget. The first step is going to be to create a budget, and you see there's instructions for each step. This one says to work as a team to decide where you are purchasing your products and how much the items are. Let's say for this example that we want to sell lanyards, and we want to create a design that we will be putting on the lanyard. So for our fixed expenses, when we think of our expenses, we will have fixed or variable. Fixed expenses are costs that stay the same regardless of how many units we purchase or how many things we sell. An example of this would be rent on a building or a phone cost. Or sometimes if we're creating a design that we want to have on a t-shirt or a lanyard, there is a setup fee that the company charges us one time to upload that design. So for the purpose of this example, let's say that we have a setup fee and that it's $35. Variable expenses are costs that will change depending on how many units we purchase or sell. For example, the actual lanyards that we'll purchase. The supply chain is the team responsible for doing the research and finding where they want to purchase this. Let's say our supply chain team looks at a few companies and they find that we can buy 100 lanyards for a total of $150. Right now, our total budgeted expenses are $185. If those are the only things we're going to purchase, we can move on to step 2. In this case, though, let's say that we also want to buy some decorative bags that we will be putting each one of the lanyards in when we sell it. And our supply chain team has found that we can buy 100 bags, $50 from another company. That makes our total budgeted expenses $235. On to step 2, we need to find the cost per unit. How much does it actually cost when we put all of our expenses together to make one lanyard and put it in the bag? So you need to enter the total number of units to be produced. How many are we planning to sell? Well, if we have purchased 100 lanyards, we're probably planning on selling 100 lanyards, and our cost per unit is $2. Now it's time to decide how much we want to sell our product for. Deciding on a sales price, we need to think about a few things. First would be sales commission. That means for each sale that a team member makes, that team member would earn a small portion of that profit for themselves. For instance, if I were selling the lanyard, I might earn 5% of that profit that would go straight to me. If your company decides to include a sales commission, you also need to be sure that you have a process in place to track who is selling the lanyards and how many each person has sold. Then we need to think about our prices. We're going to enter a low test price in the first column and a higher price in test price 2 to see how our profit margin changes. Our profit margin is the amount of money that you make as a company after all of your expenses. So we could try to sell it for $2.50, or maybe we can see what it looks like if we sell it for $3. And maybe we decide as a company that we're not going to charge a sales commission, include a sales commission. There is a fee. We use a platform called Clover that you will be selling the items on. And so there's a fee for every transaction. It is 2.85%. plus 20% transaction fee, and that's all been in the calculations for you. So if we sell it for $3, we will make 71 cents off of each lanyard. So then we'll decide on our final price. Step 4 is to analyze our profit and our break even to make sure that this is something that works for our company. We're going to enter our sales goal. It's encouraged to sell out of our product. So if we've made 100 lanyards, we want to try to sell 100 lanyards. Then we have a profit of $56.45. Then it will tell you what your break even is, how many lanyards you will need to sell to break even. On the capitalization and investors page, this is where you are going to track who has invested in your company. If we know that we need $235 to purchase the lanyards and kickstart our business, then we need investors to contribute that much money to get started. Oftentimes this comes from company members themselves, the students. You'll enter the student's name under the investment, and then you will enter how much that person has invested. The calculations will be made for you so that you know how much you've collected in total investments, what percentage of the company that person owns, and how much is still needed to be raised. So you will continue to list all the students one by one until everybody has contributed and you've raised the $230. For the sake of our example, I'm going to divide that up among 3 people. Okay. Then we've raised the capital. We know where we want to purchase our product. We've gone ahead and let's say we've purchased our product, but now we need to track our finances. The first thing you want is we want to make sure you record all the money coming in and going out. So the first thing that you might be tracking are your investors. $235 was raised total. Then you're going to want to keep track of your sales. Let's say by the end of the month, we make our purchase at Amazon and we purchased all the items that we needed. Oops. And that will be listed as a withdrawal, a debit. You see the balance keeps a running total of how much money we have on hand. As you begin to sell, you will keep track of each sale and you will input how much you've made each day. You will be able to also pull these reports from Clover, and there'll be additional instructions on that. At the end of the program, we will cover the liquidation report. I won't worry you too much with that now. I know this has been a lot of information. There will be another training that will come forth to discuss how to liquidate your company, which means how to decide how the money should be distributed to all of your company members.
All right, we're very grateful for Nikita to have done that. And of course, remember that you have that recording, that training recording linked on the one pager as well. So when it's time to go ahead and purchase items for your orders, you can go ahead and do so digitally. I created a QR code. The link is also on your one document, your resource document. And basically you would include your student company name, the school, the class period, the teacher name, and then it'll ask you to itemize the list of items that are needed, the links, the store. I mean, we need to know where to get them, where to ship them, who to ship them to, etc. And all those details will be there readily available for you. And then we go ahead and fulfill the transaction if the finance workbook is done and the funds are available in the account. That's the most important part. So once a product approval application has been approved, sales may begin using Clover. Clover is where all transactions will be covered. Again, remember that you can go ahead and begin your capitalization using Clover and then sell using Clover. So you have all the transactions also there. Students can create the QR codes, reports can be pulled, and everything can be tracked. Google Drive is a shared folder where each business team has the documents, including the finance workbook, that are updated, and all work should be saved on the drive. Students need to be saving Clover reports and updating that workbook at least once a week to make sure that everything is current. So what does the selling phase look like? Management and leadership should be holding company-wide weekly meetings. Sales need to be tracked, finance records updated. If accepting cash, approval is needed from administration and will be discussed offline by JA and the teacher. But we do encourage you to use Clover so that we have a paper trail, everything is well documented, and we avoid any issues of inaccuracies with handling money. And then we always want our records to be true to the numbers that we have. Program requirements, our students must be enrolled on the JA Learning Platform, which I have if I've already created and had your roster. All students must complete the surveys and quizzes for each lesson. Product approval application must be in place. Finance workbook updated and records maintained. The meeting actually just took place, but we're going to go ahead and make sure that everything is in place, because if those are not in place, we cannot partake in any of the competitions, and we definitely want our students to do so. So what does a volunteer visit look like? Well, in terms of a schedule, the JA staff will ask for the class meeting dates from the teacher. The teacher will go ahead and provide the schedule to the staff, and then our volunteers will be asked to select the dates from that listing. We go ahead and pair them and send the calendar invites. We kindly ask that the volunteers nudge the teacher and shoot them a message. It could be via text, via email. Hey, just wanted to give you a heads up. I look forward to seeing you tomorrow. So that the teacher's aware and has that reminder. Teachers wear a lot of hats and do a lot at schools, and sometimes it could be very easily forgotten that that's taking place. Teachers, same way that I'm asking the volunteers to send a reminder, I encourage you to establish a communicative relationship with your volunteers as well, and keep me in the loop as well so that I know what's going on. Things change at a school. Please, I beg you, let's offer grace. Let's be respectful of everyone's time. We're working as professionals. It could be that a school has an activity and there's a need to change a date. Let's work together to make it work. If it's impossible, again, you have the recordings that you can use to supplement, but there's nothing like having your volunteers in your classroom. So let's communicate 24 to 48 hours prior to the scheduled visits to make sure that everything is in place. JA staff has provided all volunteers with a Raptor information. You must have an ID to actually go into the school. Teachers, if there's a map of your school and any directions that you need to offer our volunteers as to where they should park, how they should go in, please feel free to communicate that. And really, we want everyone to have a phenomenal experience. Teachers will deliver all the curriculum. Volunteers are not there to teach. Volunteers are there to mentor, support, engage in conversations, and have a lot of fun with the students, mentoring them and guiding them to successful business. And this is a preview actually of our last year's logo competition and what we hope that all of you look forward to sharing with your students and creating. And I am launching this video for the very first time at this meeting, so I hope you enjoy it.
What's the most valuable lesson we can teach our children? It's to equip them with the confidence, the inspiration, and the preparation they need to thrive, to nurture their financial literacy so they can make informed decisions, contributing to their communities with resilience, purpose, independence, and ultimately empower them to succeed financially and beyond.
I think in school we need to do more to teach people around financial literacy, actually putting those skills to work. I was an alumni and it definitely changed my life, and it's really amazing to get back.
My favorite part of volunteering this company program was being a mentor. I'm just so impressed. These students are phenomenal, and I'm really excited to follow their careers and see them be the next future leaders of our community.
I always say that I want to mentor, I want to inspire, but I come into these things and realize that I end up being inspired.
For over 100 years, all over the world, Junior Achievement has not only been investing in young minds to build financial independence, but in empowering students to achieve the American dream. Simply put, we're the leaders in teaching students about money, how to earn it, save it, spend it, and share it. Our in-school programs cover essential topics such as budgeting, credit cards, loans, savings, buying a car, investing, and even how to start and run their own businesses.
So we really want you and your students to be part of our competition at the local level, and then with the hopes of making it to Future Bound 2026, which will be taking place in Boston, Massachusetts, as I mentioned as well. I won't play the video for time's sake, but I will share it with you so that you have it as well. And truthfully, we do not select who goes to the national competition. JAUSA qualifies students to actually attend, but we trust and we know that the work that our students and our mentors and our teachers deliver is beyond amazing, and we help make it work and happen. So we look forward to that. As I mentioned, I am not going to play the video right now. And then again, if you have any questions, you have my email. Many of you have already received an email from me. You have my cell phone number in every last one of my emails as well. If there are any questions at this time, I kindly ask that you just unmute and ask. I'm here to help answer anything. And if not, I welcome you to join us at our Q&A sessions Fridays at noon. And I am looking forward to seeing you all and working with you to make this the best year yet for a JA Company program. Any questions?
Yes, I have a question. What is the role of the virtual volunteers?
Our virtual volunteers have a calendar invite with the link. The teachers do receive that link on the virtual, for the virtual meeting on their end as well, and have it calendared. My suggestion is, again, that you reach out to the teacher and kindly remind them that you are on, that you will be meeting them virtually so that they plan for it and remember. If you see that within time they're not logged on, reach out to me, call them, contact them. I will send an email with all the contact information for both the volunteer and the teachers, so you have each other's information at all times. And I encourage you to create and establish a relationship with everyone, but it's the same concept. You're engaging with the students. The teacher will project you the same way that I am meeting with you all right now, and share the documents, the tasks, and the ideas that are being discussed in the classroom. Any other questions? All right. Well, I look forward to working with each and every one of you. I thank you for your commitment to Junior Achievement and Company program, and I look forward to making this a phenomenal year, the best yet. And we'll be in touch. Have a wonderful rest of your day.